What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on Draftkings for Thursday, March 4th. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comments section who are your favorite options on DraftKings, who's your favorite contender of mine, and your least favorite contender. I want to know what you guys think. We're rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, De'Aaron Fox, Nerlens Noel, and Norm Powell. They are all on the outside looking in. The theme at the top of this list is value. Buckle up. It's ridiculous. I'm going to name three guys that I never thought that I would name as good plays today. They're in the 1, 2, and 3 spot. It's going to be a wild one on DK. We have plenty of value to go around now, and it's only going to get even bigger. Let's dive into the contenders. At number 5, we're going to Buddy Hield, shooting guard, small forward eligibility, 6,300, projected for 34. The goal is 44. He's in the optimal lineup 18% of the time. Now, you guys know how much I love the guard forward eligibility. Buddy Hield is playing 38 or more minutes a night. He played north of 40 yesterday. I have him in for 38 minutes, 0.9 fantasy points per minute, 21% usage, 19.5, 3.5 assists. Slight base down spot against Portland. Buddy Hield is kind of just like the Sacramento Kings version of Gary Trent. You're not really getting a ton of other stats. The rebounds and assists are a little bit better here, but I'm just making a minutes play. 6,300. I can put him in 5 different places on my DK lineup: shooting guard, small forward, guard forward utility. And I don't really want to do anything else. The minutes are just too high for me to want to go any other direction. If he keeps playing 38 minutes a game, Buddy Hield has to get looked at on DraftKings. My number 2 contender on FanDuel is my number 4 contender on DraftKings. That would be Paul George. Shooting guard eligible, 8,600, projected for 47.5. The goal is 52. He's in the optimal lineup 18% of the time. I've got him in for 36 minutes at 1.32 fantasy points per minute in a monstrous pace up spot. They're taking on the Wizards. They gain 4.2 possessions over their average. This is as big of a pace up spot as any team in the league can get. This fits the Clippers perfectly. 30% usage, 26.7 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 2 stocks, and the potential that Kawhi Leonard doesn't play today. He is questionable. They're without Marcus Morris. All signs point to Paul George in this spot. Every single piece of this game fits perfectly. Whether Kawhi is in or out, I love George. I'm projecting him in right now, and Paul George gets to 4th. If Kawhi Leonard ends up out, assume Paul George is even better. One of my favorite plays on the slate. And now we get into the ridiculousness. Number 3, Kent Bazemore, small forward eligibility, 3,500, projected for 22. The goal's 34. He's in the optimal lineup 22% of the time. I'm going to assume that Kelly Oubre does not play again today. And if that's the case, Kent Bazemore got the start last night, played 30 minutes. I have him in getting the start again, 28 minutes. He's normally a 0.9 fantasy point per minute guy, but I think being on the court with Steph for more minutes brings him down. Plus, monster pace down spot for Golden State. They lose 2.2 possessions taking on Phoenix. So instead of being a 0.9 guy, I actually have him at 0.78. 16% usage, 10 points, 4 boards, 2 stocks. All of this is to say, he looks like fantastic value. You don't normally get 28 to 30 minutes at $3,500 salary, especially at a small forward spot. So Kent Bazemore helps to unlock the guys at the bottom. That's why you see Jokic and Giannis and Fox. Norm Powell is crazy expensive now. We've got many other guys that you can pay up for, including Paul George. Bazemore is the first value play we're talking about now. I've got 2 more ahead of him that are even more ridiculous. Number 2, MYKHAILIUK. This is insane. Shooting guard eligibility, only $100 above the minimum. 3,100, projected for 21, goals 33, optimal lineup 24% of the time. I don't expect to see Jeremy Grant here. Sat out in the front end of the back-to-back yesterday. Has a bit of an injury. Don't think we see him. Whether or not we see Josh Jackson, I think that's up in the air. He is also questionable. I think Svi sees 28 minutes today because they're so short-handed. We're talking 0.7 fantasy points per minute. Huge pace up or pace down spot again for the Pistons, just like Kent Bazemore. They're losing 3.7 possessions under their averages. I'm so used to talking about pace up spots. You don't normally see such pace down spots with guys at the top, but that's what happens when you're 3,100. They lose 3.7 possessions under their average, taking on the Knicks, and I still like it. 11 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, a steal, but Svi's $100 above the minimum and could play 28 minutes. If the shot is falling, he helps make lineups work, and he helps you pay up across the board. The key piece that I want to point out before we get to number one, I only think Svi is in the optimal lineup 24% of the time. That's second. I think Bazemore is 22% of the time. That's third. Both of these guys rank very highly, but the more likely scenario is that neither one of them is in the optimal lineup. So don't think that just because I say Svi and Kent Bazemore, these guys are like lock button plays. They are the best values on the slate right now. But if you get one of those two guys in the optimal lineup, you're stoked. Even one out of these top 3 is basically what you would expect given the rates. It's not like you should have Svi and Kent Bazemore plus my number 1 guy in everything that you're doing. That's not what I'm trying to say, and I want to make sure that I'm pointing that out because these picks are ridiculous. So now we're going to be on to number 1. But first, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Then follow this guy right here on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get the updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. And I don't want you to forget, let me know in the comments section because I think you guys are going to be a little riled up. Who's your favorite and least favorite contender for today's slate? Look what we have here. The Ty Jerome guy from Live Before Lock last night is probably giggling in his seat. Point guard eligibility, 3,400. Ty Jerome is the number 1 contender. I've got him projected for 23 fantasy points. The goal is 34. He's in the optimal lineup 30% of the time. 0.9 fantasy points per minute. I gave him 26 minutes, but he's played like 29 and 30 the past 2 games. So there's minutes upside here. 11 points, 3 boards, 3 assists, pace neutral spot against San Antonio. Kind of a good defense. I'm a Jakob Poeltl fan, but it doesn't really matter because Ty Jerome is playing, let's say, 26 to 30 minutes, $400 above the minimum. Between Jerome, MYKHAILIUK, and Kent Bazemore, you have plenty of options to save money and move around the positional spectrum. All 3 of these guys play different positions: point guard, shooting guard, small forward. So you can find value in many different spots and easily move your guys around. So right now, value is the theme of the day. It is easier to get to some of these value plays and rotate through the pay-up options than to do the opposite today. So Ty Jerome, the number 1 contender on today's slate. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on Draftkings for Thursday, March 4th, and that is it. No more contenders for the next couple days because we are heading to the NBA All-Star break. We will be back again Wednesday morning with another edition of Contenders. Please enjoy your break. Good luck tonight, everybody. Have a good weekend. Enjoy everything you're doing over the next couple days. I'll see you guys again Wednesday morning.